Hello, Internet. I'm actually continually impressed by the iPhone 7 Plus camera and its ability to get shots I wouldn't have normally thought it could do. As it is evening and we are in the dark. I have my little overhead light on, but I figured I would jump on live on my way home and say hey to you guys. Kind of fill you in on where we are and what we're doing these days. It's obviously been a very busy week. I have client deliveries I'm working on. I got a couple of projects that are sort of coming to a delivery point here. And I have been continually driving on this sort of physical object project of my own. And I believe that I'm going to do the math a little more, but I think we might be back to the point where we're just going to, production dojo this thing. So here's the way the math works out. I believe that the product is probably worth about $125 to the high end of my audience, which would be people who own a drone that runs between $1,000 and $1,300, which means if I go much more than $100, $120, it starts becoming non-feasible for them to add my product on as an accessory because it's mostly helpful in a recovery circumstance. And, you're looking at paying 15% of the cost of the drone for that. Now, so that's fine. Let's work with 125 as the number there. Now, I have to write some software. I got to build a company. I have to deliver. I do customer service. And so out of that, we have that price. And then we have, in quantities of $100 and some odd more for the hardware, and that's before I do any value add on it on my own, and that's obviously untenable. Now, if I do quantity 500 or more, I can get that price down around $85 a unit for the hardware, which leaves me a little more overhead to play with, but not a ton to build a company and do whatever. And I have some fixed ancillary costs that run around $30 for each unit for the first year of service, network access, and other things I'm planning on doing with it. So, even at $80 for the hardware, you add $25 or $30 onto it for non-negotiable costs, we're back around $100, $105 for something that I think can go out for about $125. I don't know, that's a lot, very, very thin margin, and I have no real intention of being in that kind of a business where I would have to do, tens of thousands of these to make it work. I am still pursuing the possibility of paring down the feature set, getting my own boards done, and finding out what it would cost to do that. And there's a possibility that I might be able to get the parts and the boards built down around the $50 range. And if it turns out I can do one all up for about $40 or $50, then that's worth building a prototype and taking it to Kickstarter and moving from there. Otherwise, what I'm going to do is do this on Production Dojo. I will sell the shells and give away the software and do the whole thing as a product development exercise for my Production Dojo audience, and then let people buy the hardware off the shelf from my vendor directly. Ooh, see, now that's getting very dark, but then again, we're probably off the main drag. Hopefully I'm still in focus. So anyway, that's kind of where we are with that. In other news, everything is going pretty well. I'm going to be streaming a little bit this weekend on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming some Xbox gaming just because I play a little bit on the weekends and some people have expressed an interest in that. I will be probably gaming and talking to you the way I talk to you now because just watching me play the game might not be overly interesting. And then once I've got that done, we have some herd watching we have to do this weekend. Obviously, the political scene is heating up tremendously, and I have a video blog I'm working on for you guys that has a little more depth, where I'll be talking about virtual assistants and sort of the necessity and the value for an entrepreneur of bringing in outside help. My recent podcast about design pickles sort of talked about that as well, and there are some companies that claim to be in the design pickle space for a little less money that maybe do some other things that I might find interesting that aren't really directly design pickle competitors. So I'm going to be looking at some of that and sort of going across all of that. So what can I tell you? In the meantime, though this isn't a political channel, I would just stay safe out there. We got a lot of people, a lot of very, very angry people who are out there causing a lot of destruction and getting really violent. So, be aware. But more than that, I would say don't be shy about what you believe. As long as you're doing it non-violently, speak your mind about what's going on. I happen to be a Trump supporter. You may not be, and that's fine. I would still encourage you to speak your mind. What I will say is, if you are going to not speak your mind because you're worried about somebody being a violent freakoid, then you might need to really reconsider the kind of places you spend time and the kind of people you spend time with. Because if they're just one of your bad opinions away from getting violent, then you need to get rid of them out of your lives, or don't go to that place, or don't be a patron of that store, or be a student of that school, whatever it is. Anyway, I will talk to you guys later. I am home. You know what the garage means. Catch you later, guys. I will talk to you tomorrow.